April 2024 from Gameranx.
Gaming is a weird world, and every month Gameranx gathers the weirdest, puts it all in one place for you, and revels in it like a weird cat in a dirty pile of laundry. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on
Like
Gameranx,
Callie,
10
like-
weird gaming stories of April 2024.
Like my fucking cat Callie, who loves to fucking get in dirty shit. She's gonna be like, you motherfucker, shut the fuck up. It's your dirty shit.
Starting off with number 10, Katsuhiro Harada, the producer on Tekken, has said that younger players of fighting games prefer team-based games rather than one-on-one, so they can shift the blame when they lose. I'll give you the exact quote. They're rarely eager to engage in one-on-one showdowns. Plus, because fighting games pit you by yourself against a single opponent, you have to accept all the responsibility if you lose. You can't blame someone else. In team-based shooters, when players win, they can say they won because of their own contributions, but when they lose, it's because they got matched with a lousy team. I mean, I see his point, yes, but Tekken 8 took 1 month to reach 1 million sales, which is twice as fast as Tekken 7. Tekken 7 is currently the most successful in the entire series, having sold about 12 million copies. That's a pretty significant outpacing of the sales of the previous most successful title in the series. So I think it's safe to say that the Tekken user base is expanding pretty fast, and you wouldn't have that happen without the younger generation, so I don't know if I think that he's correct. I do think that the accountability criticism he has is true, it's just maybe not generational. I think there are definitely a lot of people who are playing team games for the reasons he described, but I just don't think that's exclusively a generational thing. Tekken 8's sales growth just flies in the face of that very hard, in my opinion. At number 9, the first...
True. I don't think it's a generational thing either. I know a ton of people that play like team-based games, like charismatic evil random guy who plays League of Legends, and when their team dies, they'll be like, fuck you, I will fuck your mom and fuck your whole family and fuck you and fuck your dad and fuck everything about that. And it's not really a generational thing. It's really just people that play team-based games. They can't take responsibility. They're playing a single game that's relied on their own skill and no one else to help them. They can't play games like that. I mean, I want to play Tekken 8. Honestly, I do want to play Tekken 8, but I haven't been able to get it yet. But I do want to play Tekken 8.
Person to get the Neuralink implant, 29-year-old Nolan Arbaugh, has said it has allowed him to play Civilization 6. Arbaugh is a quadriplegic. He cannot move his arms or legs. And he's saying that this neural implant is allowing him to play Civilization 6.
Damn.
Not Civilization 5, which makes this the weirdest thing I've ever heard. No, I'm joking. The weird thing is that it's actually really impressive that he is able to play a video game using a neural implant. That's crazy. He thinks exactly that. To quote Nolan Arbaugh, it's crazy. It really is. It's so cool. I'm so freaking lucky to be part of this. And to be clear, that's amazing.
That is cool.
I am not saying that there are no concerns that I have for plugging a computer into a human brain. I definitely do. While the technology clearly can improve people's lives, there is also the potential to access us in a way that has never existed before. So, but as a tool to improve lives, that is just amazing. It's important to remember that tools do.
That is cool. He got him playing with a Neuralink and he can play Civilization 6? That is so dope. Well, like I said, people would take it too far. Be like, well, I want a Neuralink and I want to become cyberpunk. Hell no, motherfucker. It don't work like that.
Do what we make them do. I hope this is what we generally make that tool do. At number 8, ever-popular DRM company De Nouveau, whom everybody loves, has come up with an amazing new feature. You see, now when somebody leaks footage of a game, it will contain an invisible watermark so that leakers can be tracked by publishers. Now, I am not calling myself a hard-hitting journalist or anything. I am not that, but there are hard-hitting journalists, and leaks are actually how they get any real scoops a lot of the time. If there are flaws or scammy elements in a game, a lot of the time that's how we find out about them before launch, if we find out about them at all. And De Nouveau, the lovely people that they are, said to themselves, you know what? Publishers need more deterrent for leaks. More ways to hold leakers accountable. The company says it uniquely addresses the challenge of content leakage, especially during the sensitive pre-release phase of game development, preserving the overall integrity of the content distribution process. Look, I get the idea of not wanting to have spoilers out there. I get the idea of wanting there to be surprises. But a lot of the time, those surprises are some form of microtransaction or scummy business practice that is somehow worse than microtransactions, or simply not having something that was promised in the game, false advertising essentially. And people are already scared of telling journalists about that stuff, so sometimes they leak stuff anonymously. Well, I guess you can't do that anymore. The software is called Tracemark, and they're saying it shows the De Nouveau commitment to ensuring valuable assets are safeguarded throughout their life cycle. Can you imagine a more heartless, clinical, awful-sounding way of announcing your just garbage feature?
Damn, that's some bullshit. I don't like De Nouveau. I don't like DRM. DRM is so bad, and most likely, half the time when a game does have DRM, it halves the performance of the game, because the DRM takes up storage space and hardware use of the game, where the game isn't getting its full hardware use as if you were to pirate it. I'll give a perfect example. I've printed out from these guys Resident Evil Village on the PC. It had DRM when it launched. And the DRM when it launched, people that were pirating it were getting better frame rates than the people that actually bought the game legitimately, because the game had a DRM that messed up the frame rate and messed up the performance of the game to where you weren't getting a full performance of the game unless you played a pirated version of it. So, yeah, fuck DRM.
I hate De Nouveau, and I just hate DRM. At number 7, a modder took a really strange PS1 controller that I was not aware of the existence of and made a pocket PlayStation. I mean, small form factor gaming consoles that are handmade or homebrew is not really a shocking or weird incident now. It's more that I had no idea this controller existed. So it is a real PlayStation controller, and it may look weird as this handheld console itself, but it looks so much weirder before turned into a handheld console. You see, it's a roulette wheel. So the company behind this controller, called Takara, released the Japanese version of the Game of Life. And if you are familiar with the board game and are looking at this controller, you know exactly what this thing does. In fact, I thought it looked familiar when I saw it. I didn't realize it was for the Game of Life, but I thought, that reminds me of something. Oh, it's the Game of Life. Now, the modder that created this little system added in your general stuff that you would want now. SD card, internal battery, USB-C charging. And to be honest, it's pretty sweet. In a lot of ways, it kind of flies in the face of the aesthetic of like the Game Boy, which was the 90s handheld of choice. Obviously, the screen itself is a square, but it rests inside a big old circle, which is just weird to look at. At number 6, somebody beat the Ebony Warrior in Skyrim in under 12 minutes. You see, the Ebony Warrior is a fight in Skyrim that you cannot...
See, that is nice. The fact that somebody did that with a controller to where you can now play... I like homebrew emulated consoles. That's really when people say emulation is bad, it's not bad. there's a lot you can do with emulation in the community, and a lot you can do with it to improve like homebrew consoles and stuff like that. Like if emulation one there wouldn't have such an impressive feat of somebody who's an engineer create a tech that you can now take an old controller and put an emulator in it and put a screen on it and pretty much play PlayStation games on this weird controller. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's what I like about the emulation community. Come out when they do like homebrewed emulation consoles like when you go, they do stuff like that, and I think that's really really cool.
Partake in under level 80, and players use it as a speed run, basically utilizing exploits to get to level 80 very fast and then taking out the Ebony Warrior, obviously. The previous record was 3 years ago in 2021, and it was 14 minutes and 27 seconds. 80 levels in less than 15 minutes. Given it stood for so long, it was kind of assumed that it wasn't going to be beaten, and then somebody has come up with a completely new route that allowed them to win in 11 minutes and 47 seconds. Previously, that record was held by Waz and a guy named Nuclear. Yes, Nuclear. That's how it has to be spelled for the pronunciation to be nuclear, everyone. He managed it at 11 minutes and 47 seconds, which is completely insane. I don't know how somebody packs all of the information necessary to do in an order that ends in this result, but I'll say I'm impressed. At number 5, people playing...
Yeah, honestly, that's when I like speedrunners. They come up with new stuff and new strategies for games that you wouldn't even think about doing in a regular playthrough of a game. I mean, they come up with new strategies every day for how to perfect the game, and that's really I like the speedrunning community. I won't say I was big in the speedrunning, but I was big into watching it back in the day, especially during COVID. I was back into watching it during COVID. No, even pre-COVID, I was back in really watching the Kingdom Hearts speedrunning community. Because I was friends with a lot of good speedrunners in the Kingdom Hearts community back in the day. That would speedrun Kingdom Hearts and all the technical details about all the glitches, where all the glitches are at, how to glitch past this, how to beat this boss with a technical glitch and them past them quicker and stuff like that. And they would do and they won't do it on like the easiest difficulty. They were perfect to doing these speed runs on the hardest difficulty on Kingdom Hearts. They'd be like, level 1 Kingdom Hearts speed run, yada yada yada. We're getting through this super fast, yada yada. Kingdom Hearts speed run, yada yada yada. This glitch allows you to do this. This technique allows you to do that, and he's just like, that's why I like the speedrunning community. They do a lot of cool things with games.
Helldivers 2 were given a task. The newest major order included killing 2 billion bugs, which a lot of people thought was a daunting task to do over the course of a week, but they weren't allowed to think it for too long because it was done in 12 hours. Yes, people estimated it was gonna be a week, and it was half of a day. 2 billion is a lot, might I add. It's about a quarter of the amount of people that are on the planet in real life, not in a game world, like the actual number of people, and that's killing that many terminids, bugs. That requires some serious efficiency. It boils down to about 15 kills per player in the game for 12 hours straight. And that's assuming that, for the most part, it was in the upper end of the 180,000 peak concurrent players for that day, which, again, pretty impressive. There are people who think that maybe the counter was inaccurate, but I'll bet not. That sounds possible to me. At number 4, the parry...
2 billion bugs in a day. Damn, we're liberating these bugs for democracy.
Has become a very popular aspect of video games. Parrying attacks, parrying projectiles, lots of parrying going on. But there's a game in development that actually allows you to parry gravity. Yes, as you are falling, when you get to the ground, if you treat it as though you have a little blink of time to parry the ground, you can. The game's called VA Proxy. This is the only thing I know about it, but I really do enjoy the implication of it, which is that via gravity you are under attack by the planet and that you are deflecting that attack using these parries. I don't know, it does look cool as hell, in all seriousness. At number 3, a former video game company executive had the gall to say that people should tip developers. So I want to go ahead and say this right now. I think game developers should be paid more. And I think that should be on a salary basis. And I think that they should plan development better so that there isn't crunch. I do support the idea of putting more money into the pockets of developers, but nobody brings up tipping when they actually want to put more money into people's pockets. Tipping in the restaurant industry is used to avoid paying employees a real wage. In a tipped wage position, you can earn $2 an hour legally. I promise you, that's what's going through a game executive's mind when they are talking about this type of thing. They are thinking about how they could pay less up front to their developers, and I find it hard to believe that this is for any other reason. And number 2 is CD Projekt Red.
Yeah, that's some bullshit, because tipping is not big in any other country other than the United States. If you go to another country, they don't even tip their waiters. They don't even tip them. They pay them a livable wage. They pay them to actually do the job they're requested to do. Tipping is such an American thing, and it's such a thing we really shouldn't be doing, because when we have these things that are like tip this, tip that, sometimes you're paying this person less wage, and said thing is taking more money out of their pocket than what you're paying for the item. This is DoorDash, stuff like that. It's ridiculous. Tipping should not be something that's put on developers in the game industry, because it's like I say, when the game executives think that, I agree, they're thinking of how they can pay them less to do more work and be like, oh well, maybe they should tip you more if you want to do development, you want to get paid more and do better on development. Like, nah, it's just not a good thing. And like I said, tipping is just an American thing that is so retarded.
They're always fun. They decided to make fun of Ubisoft calling Skull and Bones a quadruple A game by saying they will make, I don't even know how to say this, but 5 A's. I don't know what comes after quadruple, but I do know that there's 5 A's in her comment. I think that's great. Ubisoft absolutely deserves their balls busted so hard for Skull and Bones. It's not that it's a terrible game or anything. It's just not a decade plus of development. Like, it's that simple. And then calling it quadruple A as though it's somehow above and beyond that of what we expect from a AAA game. Shut up. At least we know some of these executives still have their feet on the ground. And finally, at number 1, Ubisoft is stripping licenses a few weeks after shutting down The Crew. Now, as you might expect, people who like The Crew want to run fan servers and make it work without Ubisoft's blessing. So Ubisoft decided to start removing licenses from players who owned the game. Players only noticed this when they went to the game's library page and noticed a message that said, "You no longer have access to this game. Why not check the store to pursue your adventures?" So we've never actually bought games or movies or anything. Even on physical media, we have never actually owned the content itself. That license that is at the beginning of every piece of content going back to like the 1980s or so, I don't even know when they started putting it. It goes back till before I can remember. But that was about you not actually owning the thing. The thing is, when we had physical media, there was no way for them to take it back. If somebody from MGM showed up at your house and asked for their copy of GoldenEye back, you would tell them to F off. That is no longer the case when the license is stored on.
Yeah, see, this is what I was talking about with Gatsu, how we no longer own our games. We no longer own our games. We no longer own our shit. They're taking away licensing from our games to where we're like, oh well, we don't like that. We don't want you to play our games on a private fan server, so we're gonna take away your full ability to play it. Hence why piracy is such a big thing. Cause y'all fucking do this shit, Ubisoft. This is why Ubisoft's the most shittiest company out there right now. They're on the par with EA, Konami, all them.
On Ubisoft servers. All they have to do is press a button. It's the license destroyer button. They press it whenever they feel like making sure that you know that you own nothing. It's ruthless. I hate this. And I hate that this is where everything is going. The thing is, online games are infinitely more convenient. They can be updated easier, etc., etc. There are a whole lot of advantages to a digital ecosystem in gaming, but we are so screwed in this respect. I doubt there's anything that can actually be done about this because it's right there in the license. It is a revocable license. Look at it. Look at all of the messages. You will find the word revocable generally. And you agree to that by simply playing the game. It sucks a lot, and it needs to change. I don't know if it will, though. I do have a bonus story for you because
but it does need to change, but I doubt it will. It does need to change, but I doubt it will.
Downer to leave, hon. It's really just a fun April Fool's joke from Razer, introducing their Cthulhu chair, which is obviously not real. It's just the Doc Ock arms as a chair. There is a little allusion to something that might be a little risque, a little ways in. I don't know what's going on with this arm right here at 23 seconds. What's that doing? Whatever. That's all for today. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed.
Shit, that was a good video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitch to join the UncleShal Dynasty today.